welcome back. I hope you were able to do part 2 and start part 3 of this example 1. So I showed you how to find out cosine of 75, the exact value of cosine of 75, using the sum or difference formula. So first we did with the difference, with the sum of 30 and 45, and secondly, in an exam, if you get a question like that, you only have to do it by one method. But I just trying to show you that even if you use another form of the expression, you will get same answer, which you must. So using cosine of 75 equal to cosine of 120 minus 45 becomes cosine of 120 times cosine of 45. And now, because it was subtraction or a difference, cosine of a difference of angles becomes on the right hand side we get a positive sign. So cosine of 120 times cosine of 45 plus sine of 120 times sine of 45. Now 120, remember, is 2 times 60. Now 60 degrees is pi over 3. So 120 is 2 pi over 3. So recall that the sine of 2 pi over 3 is the same as sine of 60 degrees, which means sine of 2 pi over 3 is the same as sine of pi over 3. So we have sine of 120 will be the same as sine of 60. And sine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of 120 will be equal to negative cosine of 60. Cosine of 60 is 1/2. So we are getting negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 for cosine of 20. Cosine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. So we get the first term. Plus sine of 120, as I mentioned, is square root of 3 over 2. And sine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. So we multiply and take the common denominator. We end up getting this as our answer, which is the same as what we had before. Now the next one is tangent of 165. So first we have to, you can do anything first, it doesn't matter in which order you go. You could first write it as sine of 165 over cosine of 165 and then split the 165, or we could do it the way I showed you here, that split the angle write it as a sum or as a difference of two angles. In this case we are taking the difference to be I took it as a sum of 120 plus 45. That gives us 165. So just applying we will now write it as sine of 120 plus 45 divided by cosine of 120 plus 45. So we separately find sine of 120 plus 45 is, and this is what I get in the end. And then I found cosine of 120 plus 45 and I got this as my answer. Now for tangent, we divide the two and you can see that 4 division of these two fractions, this fraction and the fraction at the bottom. So when you flip the bottom one, the 4 and the 4 get cancelled and we get square root of 6 minus square root of 2 in the numerator and negative of square root of 2 plus square root of 6 at the bottom. So I can now take the negative sign and I can distribute it at the bottom, but that will make too many things negative. So what I do instead, I distribute it in the numerator. So when I distribute it to the numerator, the first term will become, so I'll cancel it from here. This will become negative and this will become positive. So that I can write my expression as square root of 2 minus square root of 6 over square root of 2 plus square root of 6. Now the question is, should we go further or should we leave it here? Well, it depends on the problem, what the question requires. Even if in this case, if you leave it here, I think it's fine. But you could simplify it actually. Usually we don't leave the square roots in the denominator. So how can I get rid of those square roots? If I multiply by, only if I multiply by the conjugate. So square root of 2 plus square root of 6 conjugate will be square root of 2 minus square root of 6. So I multiply top and bottom by that of that expression, and simplifying the denominator, I can apply the product of squares formula, which says a plus b times a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. So that when I multiply the two denominators here, so sorry, I multiply by the conjugate of, so I'm multiplying by the conjugate of square root of 2 plus square. So if I multiply these two denominators, so square root of 2 whole square minus square root of 6 whole square, which gives me 2 minus 6 in the bottom. 2 minus 6 in the bottom. In the numerator, you can multiply and you will see that you get 2 minus 2 into square root of 12 plus 6. Now 2 and 6 can be added together. They become 8 minus 2 into square root of 12. Now square root of 12 can actually be simplified and written as 2 times square root of 3. So that the middle term becomes 2 times 8. So we have 8 minus 4 into square root of 3. Whole thing divided by negative 4. Because remember 2 minus 6 is negative 4. And then simplifying the numerator, we end up 8 minus 4 into square root of 3 divided by negative 4. Now I can factor out of 4 from the numerator. So it gives me 4 times 2 minus square root of 3 whole divided by negative 4. So I have now 4 and 4 gets cancelled, and the negative sign can be distributed in the numerator, and it gives me square root of 3 minus 2, which is much simpler than what we had before.